Pima JTED doesn't just work for students, it works for all of Arizona. Hands-on training, real-world skills, high school students become job-ready, and Arizona businesses get the talent they need to thrive. Without a skilled workforce, Arizona can't grow. But with Pima JTED graduates, our entire economy prospers. Join the businesses already investing in Arizona's future. Learn more at PimaJTED.org. That's PimaJTED.org. This message is sponsored by Potoff Private Philanthropy.
Summer's almost here, and that means swimsuits, pool parties, and walks on the beach. For the confidence to look your very best, come to Red Mountain Weight Loss. At Red Mountain, our expert doctors will help maximize your results from brand name medications like Wegovy and Zepbound. Another option is our signature medication, RM3. RM3 helps you lose up to 20 pounds a month while melting inches from your belly, hips, and thighs. This patented medication is available only by prescription, and you can only get it at Red Mountain Weight Loss. For over 30 years, Red Mountain has been the trusted leader in medical weight loss. Our doctors deliver safe, effective solutions tailored to your needs. Red Mountain has helped over 1 million patients lose weight safely, and they can help you too. Lose weight and look great just in time for summer at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com. Red Mountain Weight Loss. Real doctors, real results.
Ooh, Del Taco?
Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
Hell, big boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah?
Del, yeah.
What was that?
Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Introducing El Big Boxes from Del Taco. Choose from the $5 Classico, the $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box. More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah.
Price of participation may vary.
It starts with a simple order. A cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Save on quality treats and eats during our Mother's Day event at Whole Foods Market. Discover only the best for mom with deals on flowers, candles, brunch favorites, decadent desserts, and more through May 11th. Shop in-store or online today.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
A stumble in the city of brotherly love, the injuries continuing to pile up, and a bullpen in disarray. And that's just the baseball team for us to discuss here today on the program. Welcome in the Monday edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. And you can always watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody is enjoying Cinco de Mayo. Producer Evan was worrying about the festivities for us here on the program. We got to get through 2 hours, buddy. We have 2-hour show to do, and then the Cinco de Mayo festivities can begin for us. Okay, we got 2 hours of a program to do, 2 hours of mostly baseball talk to get through, and then we can celebrate. Because there was not a lot of celebration over the weekend. Yes, that is where we'll start today's program with the baseball team.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
A stumble in Philly that almost was a complete collapse. Because yesterday the Diamondbacks tried their best to give that game away. Did give that game away. Were able to get through in extra innings to salvage the series finale, to make sure it wasn't a sweep in Philadelphia. And they now sit 3-3 through the first 6 games of this very important, at least as we've defined it here on this show, very important 16-game stretch. Because it's just team after team, game after game against the best of the best in the National League. A really great early barometer of where you are. How do you stack up against the Mets? How do you stack up against the Phillies? How do you stack up against the Dodgers and Giants, your direct rivals in the NL West? That's why this is so important. It gives us answers. It tells us where this team thrives. It can also tell us where this team falls short. And if there's one thing that came out of this weekend is we saw once again where this team fell short. It was game 1 on Friday that you can add to the list. And we're going to do the list a little bit later on in the program. We're going to put together the list of games that the Diamondbacks bullpen has given away this season, that they've just handed over to the opposition, blown leads late, just a bullpen having a complete meltdown. Games that they lost that you can directly tie to a bullpen arm. And that list is pretty long for a team that's only played 30-some-odd games of the baseball season. But this one goes on a sub-list. This one goes on a list of games that Torey Lovello gave away, because Torey gave away that game on Friday. Because in the 7th inning of a 1-run game, 2-1 at the time, he turned to Jose Castillo as his lefty reliever that he wanted to face Kyle Schwarber in the 7th inning. He did not go to Jalen Beeks, who then pitched later on in that game. Did not go to the lefty reliever that he has out there available in that bullpen that has been one of his best overall relievers this season. Didn't go to that guy. Went to the guy that they just called up from AAA because there's been a lot of injuries, a lot of underperformance, a lot of moving people around down there in that bullpen. That's the guy he turned to on Friday. And it directly led to a Kyle Schwarber home run, directly led to a Max Kepler home run. Boom. The series opener against Philly gone in the blink of an eye because of a poor bullpen decision. And then this is just proof that baseball, when it rains, it pours. And when bad can become worse, because you lose that game. You lose that game in heartbreaking fashion on Friday, and you look at who's pitching the next day and you go, oh, don't worry. We have our most consistent, our most reliable, to this point, the most trustworthy member of our rotation going for us on Saturday. We're going to get right back at it. We're going to pick up right where we left off against the New York Mets. And then Brendan Pfaadt turns in his worst performance of the season, a blow-up performance from Brendan Pfaadt. He'd been good all season long, had been consistent, 6+ innings, giving the Diamondbacks a chance to win every single time out. When things are bad, they can always be worse. And baseball is a sport, because it's played every day, very quickly reminds you of that. Oh, you thought Friday was bad? You thought 2 home runs in 1 inning, clinging to a 1-run lead was bad? Yeah, how about your best starter going out there and having his worst start of the season so you lose 2 in a row? And then there was yesterday, the game that tried to be a disaster. It was a disaster at times. Shelby Miller blows a save after getting the first 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Diamondbacks' bats come alive in extras, and they avoid a complete collapse, a complete meltdown, in which they blew a 6-run lead and then lose in extras to get swept in Philadelphia. If that sweep happened yesterday, if that 6-run lead that they blew ended up leading to a Phillies walk-off in the 10th, you would have undone everything good that you did against the New York Mets. You would have undone it in 3 straight games. But your bats came alive. Josh Naylor had the big hit to get the first run across, and you were able to survive in Philadelphia. And they've done this a couple of times. They did this against the Braves a couple of weeks ago, where the last game of a series, instead of getting swept, they're able to salvage the finale. Remember those moments. Remember those series that were trending towards sweeps, that were trending towards undoing whatever goodwill you had. Remember that they picked up those series finales, because in a division, in a wild card race that could come down to a game here or a game there, salvaging those series and not getting swept may come back to benefit this team. But they are 3-3 through the first 6 games of this 16-game stretch. While they have gone 3-3, the Dodgers in their last 6 are 5-1. The Padres in their last 6 are 5-1, and the Giants are 3-3 in their last 6. So you have kept pace with the Giants, but you have lost 2 games to both the Dodgers and the Padres in the National League West. This is why we have put so much focus on these 16 games, because this is going to tell us where this team needs to improve. This stretch is going to tell us, how do they stack up against the Dodgers? How do they stack up against the Giants? You may be ready to put the division in the rearview mirror. You may be ready to put all your focus in the wild card standings. Okay. Well, the Mets and Phillies are 2 teams you need to pay attention to, because whoever's not in the lead for the NL East, they're going to be in the wild card race. The Giants, a team that you are going to directly compete with in that wild card race, if we are to assume the Dodgers are going to run away and hide with this at some point. I'm not sure they're going to do that, but I do think it is the common opinion that they will at some point flex their muscles and run away with this division. So if they do, the Giants are a team, doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon, that you are going to be directly competing with. That's why this is so important. That's why losing the game the way that you did on Friday is so important. That is why your starter, your most consistent starter, having a blow-up performance on Saturday hurts. It hurts because you've got a lot going wrong for this team right now. You have a bullpen that cannot get out of their own way. You have a rotation. Yes, Eduardo Rodriguez did lower his ERA over the weekend, but guess who's not starting tonight? Corbin Burnes will not be taking the mound for the Diamondbacks. We're going to talk about that here in about 5 minutes from now, because that is a big story coming out of this weekend. A bullpen all over the place, a rotation all over the place, and one of the guys that you count on, or that you expected to count on to be a strength for you, is now missing a start, and who knows when he will be back for this team. Don't know if it's just going to be this one start. So this team had a bad weekend across the board. It was a great middle of the week, taking 2 out of 3 from the Mets. That gave you some confidence back. That built up the confidence, I think, that you had in this team, that I certainly had in this team. It built up the confidence that those guys probably had. And then you're walking into Philadelphia on Friday night, taking 2 out of 3 from the best team in baseball, and you get one of, if not your best player back in Ketel Marte. You should have been riding high. Baseball is a funny sport sometimes, because you got brought right back to reality over the weekend with Friday and Saturday's performances and results. Now, you did enough to salvage it yesterday, even though you tried to give it away. You tried to make it a complete meltdown in Philadelphia. And now, leaving this series, you've got bigger problems on your hands with Corbin Burnes being hurt. So a bad weekend across the board for this team. I know it's a road series. I know it's a good Philadelphia team, but you were riding high coming out of Citi Field, and that basically all went away in the span of 3 days.
It's so funny because I think if you told us 6 days ago, 7 days ago, and they went 3-3 in these 6, you're like, okay, all right. Okay, you took 3 on the road out of 6 and against 2 of the better teams, but it's just the way it plays out.
It's context, man. Context matters.
It's the way it plays out. And like you said, you took 2 of 3 from the best team in baseball. You got a vintage Zach Gallen start on Friday. Your bullpen held on. You win that game, and then all of a sudden you go into Philadelphia, and as soon as you blow the Friday game, you're like, oh, here we go again. Because you had that one. You got another good start. And then even yesterday, you win. Erod gave you a great start, probably the best you're going to get out of him in Philadelphia. And then you blow up, and sure, you win the game. You get the big hit by Naylor, and you win it in the 10th. But, God, isn't that game demoralizing?
Well, it opens up a lot of questions, right? You win a game yesterday to salvage a series, and you want to feel good about that win, but you can't do that. You can't feel good about that win yesterday because it brings back all of the questions about this bullpen, because Shelby Miller had been anointed as the team's closer. It wasn't said out loud, but we've seen the way Torrey has managed this since Justin Martinez was placed on the injured list. Shelby is clearly the guy he trusts the most right now. Now, perhaps that person ends up becoming Kevin Ginkel when he is got more he has more reps this season, right? They just brought him back from the injured list. You don't want to thrust all of that onto his plate. I can understand where they're coming from. But right now, Shelby Miller is the guy that you chose to trust. And very early into that tenure, you had yesterday happen where you get the first 2 outs in the 9th inning and you blow it. Once Schwarber hit the home run, I'm like, oh my goodness, they're going to come back.
And he struck out the first 2 guys. He struck out Turner, Harper fairly easily. And even after the Schwarber home run, you're like, okay, hopefully that's meaningless.
No, I knew once the Schwarber home run happened, and then Castellanos got that hit right up the left side of the infield. You're like, oh, okay, they must be seeing something.
And say what you will about Bohm, but I've watched a lot of Phillies games. Runners on first and second, 2 outs in the 9th. He's the guy. If I could pick anybody in that lineup, I want up.
So I noticed something when watching the game yesterday. It was Brian Kaplan went out to talk to Bohm. Went out to talk to Miller about Bohm after Castellanos had gotten on and the Phillies were threatening. And normally, when the pitchers talk, they cover their mouths with their gloves, so you don't really know what they're saying. Now, I don't consider myself a John Boy level lip reader, but there are times where I'm pretty good at it, and it was clear to me that Shelby was talking to everybody and said in some context, 4-seamer away, 4-seamer up and away. He said that, and I'm like, okay, that's their plan. They're going to attack Bohm with a 4-seamer up and away. What pitch did he hit? A 4-seamer that they tried to get up and away, and it missed.
And they left in.
And he crushed it, tied the game. Like it's just about execution. And they missed on their execution multiple times over the weekend. And by missing on the execution, they have brought to us a whole list of questions that we are going to try to answer here today. One question that I am not going to be able to answer is what is going on with Corbin Burnes. But we'll tell you the latest, why he's not starting tonight, and where this may go from here. That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince Delisio from the Varsity Sports Show. This week is our annual show in honor of all moms out there. Tune in as our team introduces you to their moms. And we also bid farewell to this semester's talented group of interns. It's the Varsity Sports Show Mother's Day Special, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Breaking Benjamin. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and the resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
Jerome here with your Rome Report. Go New York, go New York, go. How about those Knicks? More specifically, how about cold-blooded Jalen Brunson running a stake right through all of Detroit's heart with that 3-ball late to finish the Pistons and advance? Never mind that the Knicks did everything they could to keep Detroit in this game. Jalen had seen enough, called game, and buried that dagger. Great, great moment. Now, that said, Let's settle down with how great. I love the guy. He's clutch. He's tough. He's different. But let's stop with the Jordan comps. It was game 6 in the first round, not game 6 in the NBA Finals. Again, taking nothing away from Brunson or the moment, but we need to see it against somebody who matters, because somehow the Knicks won 51 games this year, despite going 0-16 against teams that do matter, including 0-4 against the Celtics, who they get next. Again, I'm glad to see the Knicks advance. Now try to make sure you don't get swept to make it 0-20 on the season against anybody who matters. I'm Jim Rome. The basketball playoffs are here on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on the action. The app is so simple to use. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code ROME. Get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code ROME on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get the $50 bonus credit just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. You don't have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The Diamondbacks will return home and welcome in tonight the New York Mets, team they just played last week at Citi Field in New York. They'll return, 3 games starting tonight, but they will be without Corbin Burnes tonight. He is getting skipped for this start with what they are describing as right shoulder inflammation. Manager Torey Lovello told the media yesterday that they are hopeful that he will be back after missing just this one start. But in explaining what's going on with Burnes to the media, he added that fatigue had been an issue for Burnes in his last couple of starts. Now, I'm very forgetful, Producer Evan. I forget a lot. You have to remind me of things on a pretty regular basis. But fatigue, shoulder inflammation, and using the phrase hopeful that it's a short-term thing. That sounds very familiar.
We've heard that before.
Sounds like
about a player in the bullpen?
It sounds exactly like the 3 things we heard about Justin Martinez. Oh, it's just fatigue. Oh, don't worry. He'll be right. He'll be fine. Just some dead arm, some fatigue. Just needed some time, but he'll be back, ready to go, hopeful. All of those things we talked about with Justin Martinez. And what happened? He came back, didn't look his best, velocity was down, and then ended up on the injured list, the 15-day injured list, with right shoulder inflammation, soreness, whatever they're calling it, discomfort, whatever word they use for Justin Martinez. And they are still trying to figure out what's wrong with him. Feels like we are going down the exact same path here with Corbin Burnes. Now, no 2 pitcher injuries are the same, even though they're in the same area. But you can't help but think we just went through this. We just had this scenario with Justin Martinez, and we had a manager sit in front of us and be optimistic and tell us that things were okay and tell us that they expect it to be short-term, that they don't expect it to be anything serious. And then it proceeded to get worse and worse and worse to the point where his velocity was down 5 miles an hour from its average, and they had to place him on the IL. And so you can tell me that you're hopeful. You can tell me that you expect this to only be 1 start missed for Corbin Burnes, but you tell me he has fatigue. You tell me that you had him go for an MRI and it showed inflammation, and I am just reliving what we lived through 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, with Justin Martinez last week. So now you can add Corbin Burnes to a list. Ketel Marte, hurt and missed time. AJ Puck, currently out, missing time. Justin Martinez, currently out, missing time. And Corbin Burnes, right now, currently going to miss this start tonight. And by the way, if you wanted proof that something was off with Corbin Burnes, do yourself a little favor today. And listen, I know
I'm a huge nerd.
This is very nerdy, what I'm about to share with all of you. But go to the StatCast page for Corbin Burnes and look at what his numbers looked like last year. Look at what his strikeout rate was last year. Look at what his fastball velocity average was last year, his barrel percentage. Look at all those numbers in 2024. And then look at what they are so far through 2025. And you will see a pitcher that clearly is dealing with something. Now, if there is a silver lining here, this being an answer to what has led to this slow start for Corbin Burnes, at least now we have something. We've been guessing as to why he's been off to a slow start. We've been guessing why we have not seen vintage Corbin Burnes. I've asked for it multiple times. I've asked for vintage Corbin Burnes to show up for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it has been a slow and steady crawl for Corbin. This at least gives us an answer. He's dealing with something. The worst place you could be is a pitcher or a position player who's struggling and there is no injury. There is no inflammation. There is no MRI that's giving you any indicator of something being wrong. You just have a player who's not performing well. That's one of the worst places you can be as a baseball team. At least you have an answer here, but at some point, being without your two top relievers, being without the guy you just spent $210 million on this past offseason, if he has to miss a couple of more turns through, this stuff starts to add up. We said at the beginning of the season, the margin for error in the National League was going to be slim. It may be non-existent. So with these injuries happening at the start of the season and these injuries starting to pile up, you wonder if it's just going to become too much for this team to overcome.
I'm going to be kind of, I'm looking for the word here.
Okay, let me help you.
I'm going to throw out an idea.
You're going to do I have an old radio friend. It's the same radio friend that you know. We used to refer to this as just supposing. You want to do some just supposing. You want to throw something out there. You have no reason for doing so. You want to do some good old-fashioned just supposing. I love it. The floor is yours.
Okay. New pitching coach this year. You have this very similar injuries or fatigue now with Justin Martinez and Corbin Burnes. And you touched on it. No injury is the same. But listen, these two storylines seem to match up pretty well so far. Is this something that they're adjusting to a new spring training routine? And we're seeing this come out early in the year, that this is a new throwing routine that these guys went through in the spring training. I wonder if that has anything to do with some of the injuries we've seen to this point.
Well, they made a pitching coach change because they weren't seeing the results that they wanted to see last year. They felt like it was time. They got Brian Kaplan from the Phillies, who was a very highly regarded pitching coach, was a pitching development guy, oversaw the pitching development for the entire Phillies organization. So wasn't just focusing on the big league guys, was focusing on the minor league, the prospects, building up a pitching system.
And the Phillies have had guys come up. Christopher Sanchez, he worked with him, and Ranger Suarez has a ridiculous resume.
A resume that matches somebody that should be on your short list to be a pitching coach. And so the just supposing that you were doing is you are wondering if a new pitching coach with maybe some new systems and maybe some new techniques and new ways of going about things could be a reason why we're seeing this is now the third pitcher who has gotten hurt? Puck, Martinez, Burnes. Now, again, I said this before, not all pitcher injuries are the same, right? No two pitchers get hurt in the same way. Despite both Justin Martinez and Corbin Burnes dealing with fatigue, despite both of them dealing with something in their right shoulder, maybe being a little inflamed, maybe needing some time off, their fastball velocity, their high-speed offering, maybe not being at its optimal speed. That doesn't mean they're dealing with the exact same injury, but you can connect the dots about two guys who have been dealing with fatigue and the results not being there for them as of late. I don't know. It's too early to say that it's because of a pitching coach change. It's too early to say that they changed something because, truthfully, we don't know what they changed. We don't know what processes they kept from their last pitching regime, which ones are new to Kaplan and the way he wants to do things. It's hard to really know that, but I don't think it's I don't think it's outlandish to throw out there that you've had 3 pitching injuries at the start of the season and you did bring in a new pitching coach. And could there be some newness to it all? And it's leading to some injuries. It's not, I won't say I fully agree, but I don't think it's bad to bring up.
Yeah. I think it's just a question more or less of whether there's changes and we've seen multiple now and you're just trying to pinpoint a reason. You have to ask that question.
Yeah, it's not casting blame. It's trying to figure out, hey, the 3 guys have gotten hurt in a relatively short span. What may be the reason behind this? And well, they did change a lot, and changing a lot with pitchers, you're now changing your entire routine. And if you change your routine, that can lead to things like this because maybe you're not fully comfortable. You're still trying to work through some of the kinks. In Burnes' case, here's a new guy to a new team. He's got to learn a whole new operation. And so it can lead to some things like this. But these injuries will catch up at some point to this team. They will doom this team if they continue to be unhealthy in their bullpen, continue to be unhealthy with their rotation. If you have your stars pop up on the injured list and they miss time, if Burnes misses more than just this one start, these are the types of things that you look back on at the end of a season and you wonder, what if? What if Burnes didn't miss 4 or 5 starts? And again, not saying he will. They're hopeful that it's just one. They were also hopeful that there wasn't anything seriously wrong with Justin Martinez. Look where we stand here today. 480-864-1060, the phone number. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. You can also email in to the program. Just go on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can click the send email feature, and you can email us. And you know who does that more than anybody else here on the program? It's our guy, Paul.
I'm mad at Paul again.
Okay, wait a minute. You're mad at Paul again. Oh, yeah. I know why you're mad at Paul. We didn't tell this story on the air. You're mad at Paul because Paul emailed in after the show on Friday, and he gave out a pick for the Kentucky Derby. And you, being a Paul stan that you are, you wanted to ride with Paul. And
well, if somebody's going to email into the show, they are confident in Sandman.
Yeah, but Paul emailed in on Friday and was confident in Sandman as the pick. And so Evan took that as had no reason to do so. Paul has never given out the credentials of being, a horse expert, right? A horse racing expert. But you just, man, Paul emailed in, I'm riding with Paul. It didn't work out. Paul emailed in here a little bit ago and said, thanks for seeing the Diamondbacks glass as half empty right now. Their bullpen is in shambles. I still think they should win 84 to 86 games, but I also don't believe that will be enough for a wild card spot. I agree with that last part. If they ultimately only get to 84 or 86 wins, I do not think that is going to be enough. I think I'd be shocked if 87 is enough. I think you're looking at some teams that are going to win 90 games as a wild card team.
I said 89 was the threshold before the season. I stand by that right now.
Yeah, 84 to 86, I don't think we'll get it done. And yeah, we have always been honest about the way this team is playing right now. And the way they're playing right now is a team that is just, they're a mess. They're all over the place. They're inconsistent and they have issues everywhere. Starters, bullpen, the offense at times. I mean, you name it. Spin the wheel of misfortune and things can go off the rails. When we come back, a first-time GM, and he is going to sink or swim immediately. Is this going to be too overwhelming for a first-year GM? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring Me the Horizon, USA Ascension Program, Part 1.
Every sky will build, my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring Me the Horizon, presented by the Big Red Radio.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.com.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-837-PAIN. That's 602-837-PAIN. 602-837-PAIN.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The Phoenix Suns will begin, or have already started to begin, a very important offseason. And they will do so with a first-time general manager. Brian Gregory was named as the new GM last week, replacing James Jones. They moved Jones into a senior advisory role, and now the ball can get rolling for the Phoenix Suns. They can hire a new head coach. They can decide, because we've decided. I've decided. I think I'm going to speak for the producer of the program has decided. Kevin Durant can't be on this team next season. Am I speaking? I'm speaking for you, but am I speaking correctly?
Very correctly.
Okay. So Kevin Durant has to be off this team. We think. Many of you think that too. I don't know what Brian Gregory thinks. I don't actually know what Matt Ishbia thinks. I don't know. We'll learn this as the offseason progresses, but they have to hire a head coach. They have to decide on what they want to do with Kevin Durant, what his future is going to look like. We'll talk about this in hour number 2 of the program, but an avenue for a KD trade opened up yesterday. Did you watch what happened in Houston last night? Did you see what happened in Game 7? Houston's got some free time on their hands. They can answer some phone calls from the new GM of the Phoenix Suns.
Chris, do you think playoff experience would have helped them last night?
Perhaps a guy.
That's just what I was thinking about.
Perhaps a guy who has been there and done that, who has won a championship, maybe could have helped last night. But let's not do the show before the show. We'll get to that in hour number 2 of the program. They have to decide how they are going to, because I'm sorry, I'm going to speak this into existence. And if this makes me a bad guy, then you know what? Put my name on the top of the list. I'm going to speak it into existence that Bradley Beal's off this team next season. Cannot play Bradley Beal next season. Cannot be a member of this roster. So they have to decide, what's the right course of action? Is it a wave and stretch? Is it a buyout? Could we somehow Will a trade materialize out of thin air for us? What is the best course of action there? That's a lot to do. And oh, by the way, you have to draft. You have picks 29 and 52 in this year's draft, a first and a second round pick. You have to attack free agency. But oh, by the way, a reminder, you're a second apron team right now, so you're limited in what you're able to do. You have to do all of that. You have to do all of that while changing a culture in one offseason. Now, in fairness, this is going to take time. The culture piece of this does not happen overnight. You do not, no matter who is sitting in that chair, change that in one offseason. Can you lay the foundation? Can you lay those first bricks? Absolutely. You cannot change that in one offseason. So that's being fair to Brian Gregory. But this type of overhaul that this team is going to undergo, it doesn't matter who is sitting in that chair. This was going to be an overwhelming task. This is going to be a lot. I just listed a couple of things. I think I got most of the big bullet points, but I'm sure there's other things that you all are thinking right now that I didn't mention of things you want to see addressed this summer. This is going to be extra overwhelming for somebody who, I'm sorry, I don't mean to throw Brian Gregory under the bus like this, but I have to. He's never done this before. He's never submitted a draft pick. He's never made a trade. He's never signed a free agent. He's never hired a coach. He's been a coach. He's been a college coach, but has never hired a coach. Has never hired a coach to change a culture. Has never hired a coach to oversee this type of transition. There was an easy path that the Suns could have chosen. Easier than this, because this was the path of least resistance. You could have hired a veteran NBA front office person. Not a GM. Not a GM on another team. Not somebody who has prior GM experience. I'm setting the bar at hire somebody who's worked in an NBA front office as an assistant GM. There's plenty of those. Plenty of people across basketball that fit that criteria, that have that experience of being an assistant GM, having a seat at the table, having something that they oversee. Instead, you promote the VP of player programming. Again, a made-up title. Made it up. Not real. I need somebody to tell me what that person does. That is not a real job title in the year 2025. In fact, actually, it is a real job title in 2025 because most job titles are just made-up corporate jargon when there are probably other things that you can say to describe that job role. That's the experience that Gregory has in a front office. You could have hired a well-respected, established front office executive from any other team in basketball. And again, not somebody who has GM experience. You want somebody who's a first-time GM because you want that fresh perspective? That's fine. Hire somebody who's an assistant GM in Houston. Hire somebody who's an assistant GM in Boston working under Stevens. Hire somebody who's an assistant GM in New York, in Golden State, in Oklahoma City, in Cleveland. The programs that are currently winning, the teams that are currently, most of them, still playing in the playoffs. Pluck assistant GMs from those trees. And then pair that person. If you want a first-time head coach as well, that's fine too. You could have done this in a way that would give us more confidence, that would make us less uneasy about this. And instead, you're putting somebody into this chair. Not just any chair. Not just any team's offseason. I'll continue to say it. The most important offseason in the last decade plus, perhaps in the franchise's history. This is the most important offseason since I moved here to Phoenix. I have been here nearly 15 years. It'll be 13 years this summer that I have been here watching this team, seeing the teams here in the Valley operate. The most important offseason in the 13 years that I've been here. And you're going to hand the reins to somebody who is a first-time GM. Of course he's going to be overwhelmed. And that's understandable. Hey, Brian, go figure out a Kevin Durant trade. Go figure out what we're going to do with Bradley Beal. And oh, by the way, you've never negotiated a buyout in your life. You've never used the wave and stretch mechanism. And I'm sure I can hear them. I can hear it. The people out there, oh, Chris, don't worry. It's all about who he surrounds himself with. It's all about the people that also have seats at the table. I was told that Gregory was supposed to be the only person. He was going to be the final say. And yes, every organization, every good GM has his lieutenants that he sends out there to do certain tasks. And yes, if Matt Tellem sticks around, there's your cap guy, right? And you're going to be able to lean on these people. But there are really important decisions that are going to come down to how Brian Gregory feels about them. And I just don't have the trust that he is going to be the person that is going to be able to see this franchise through. This is going to be too overwhelming. It's overwhelming. If you brought in Bob Myers, it's overwhelming. If you brought in the executive that you wanted, if you could pick any executive in basketball and plop them into this situation, somebody who has decades of experience, we use Bob Myers as the example, he would be overwhelmed. It's a lot for him to figure out in real time. And now you're handing the keys to this franchise to somebody who's never done it before. Producer Evan wrote on our show sheet today 2 questions. Is there one move that Gregory could make in the early going that would instill confidence? And I don't know if the coaching move will make people less uneasy, because that's the thing that's going to happen first. They're going to hire a coach first. Is that going to change how we feel? I don't think, as we sit here today, that's going to change my feeling. Because sitting here today, the thing that scares me, the thing that concerns me about Gregory being in this role is they don't get enough in a Kevin Durant trade. They don't maximize that chip that they have. They don't get the right free agents in here to fit this culture. They don't handle the Bradley Beal situation the right way. Those are the things that worry me. Those are the things where a first-year GM, a first-time GM, I think can slip up. A coach, I'm not going to know if they hired a good coach or a bad coach until I see that person work with this roster next October. But a Kevin Durant trade, I can evaluate that basically in real time how good they did, because we've set a bar on this show of what we think a fair return would be. And we're going to gauge it against that. So my confidence will be changed or increased based on what they do with Kevin Durant, what they get back, how they navigate that. Because part of a trade and part of playing that game is how you negotiate, how you pit teams against each other. And don't overplay your hand, but also don't underplay your hand. And guess what? Brian Gregory, he's being dealt into his first hand. I'll use an obscure poker analogy because I am a poker player. This is like the first time somebody playing cards is in the $10,000 buy-in World Series of Poker main event in Vegas. You've never been dealt in before, and you're being dealt in at the highest stakes imaginable. How often does that go well? How often is that result a positive one? So, of course, this is going to be overwhelming. Of course, this is going to be a lot for a first-time GM. We'll see how he handles it. Hey, make sure you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app. And if you are listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, make sure you're registered and you're logged in and listening, because you can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Rockies on Saturday, May 17th at Chase Field. And while you're there, you can pick up the replica home jersey at the game on May 17th, and you can stick around for awesome post-game fireworks show after the game against the Rockies. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/SGT. And there's an important footnote here that I have to tell everybody. The replica home jersey that you can pick up at the game, that is not a giveaway. But you can pick up the home replica jersey. I guess they're going to have them there at the game on May 17th. Listen, Producer Evan's giving me a look. I just read the copy that is handed to me for the promotion.
What do you mean it's not a giveaway?
It's not a giveaway, but it says here in the copy.
You have to buy it?
Yes, you can pick up the replica home jersey at the game on May 17th. So I'm just telling everybody, I don't want there to be a misconception that it is a giveaway, because there have been times where we've promoted giveaways in the past. I want to be clear to everybody. So you got to be listening on the app in order to enter to win. You got to listen, I believe, for 1 hour to be entered to win. So make sure if you're, and I know you are, because during the break I go in and I look at the numbers. I see that there are people listening on the app right now that are not logged in and registered. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're missing a chance to go to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Rockies. 4 tickets Saturday, May 17th. When we come back, the post-draft power rankings, they tell one very specific story, and it's one of skepticism. That's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
The Offspring. Supercharged worldwide in 25. One unforgettable summer night. The Offspring, live in Phoenix. With special guests Jimmy E. World and Newfound Glory. Playing Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater August 27th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 great bands. 1 incredible show. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Now through May 13th, stock up for spring celebrations at AJ's 25% off rosé and bubbly sale. Celebrate the season with refreshing sips, perfect for Mother's Day brunch, backyard gatherings, or simply enjoying the Arizona sunset. For a limited time, save 25% when you mix and match 6 or more 750 milliliter bottles from our curated selection of rosés and sparkling wines. It's now through May 13th, only at AJ's.
Are you tired of seeing rust stains in your sinks? Call Culligan. Or scrubbing hard water scale buildup from your fixtures. Call Culligan. We can customize whole home solutions to address common water worries found in Phoenix. And now, for a limited time, you can get better water at every tap in your home for $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 6 months. Problem water is no problem for Culligan. Contact your local water expert today. Contaminants may not be in your water. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for details.
Every day, savings, energy efficiency, rebates. Every day at APS, you have ways to save energy and money. We know how important it is to keep your bill as low as possible. That's why we offer programs to help you manage your energy use. Schedule a home energy checkup for savings recommendations tailored to your home. Find rebates on smart thermostats. Compare your rate plan options and switch to the plan that would have saved you the most money. Find ways to save at aps.com/brighter.
Join ASU Baseball right here on KDUS AM 1060. Starting this Friday, the next opponent in the Sun Devils' sights is the University of Houston. As the end of the regular season approaches, ASU knows that every win counts, and they look to give it their all against the Cougars. The voice of the Sun Devils, Tim Healy, will have the call live. It's ASU versus the University of Houston this Friday. Pregame at 6:15 p.m. and first pitch at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com/Sun Devils.
One of the things I enjoy doing after the NFL draft is complete is looking at how they reorder the teams despite these players not playing a single down yet. The draft completes and everyone's like, oh, team that I had 8th in the power rankings, move them up to 4th, baby. That team had a great draft. All those players are going to contribute. They're now a top 5 team in the NFL. But it does tell a story. And the story it tells for the Cardinals right now is one of extreme skepticism. Now, I just pulled 4 places that had post-draft power rankings. There are plenty more than just 4. But these 4, I think everybody would agree. Producer Evan, stop me if you disagree. I think I picked 4 reputable places. I picked The Athletic. I picked ESPN. I picked CBS Sports. And I picked PFF. I think that's reasonable.
4 good spots there?
I just hear people when I say PFF.
I'm a huge nerd.
I can hear you say that to me when I reference PFF, but they are a reputable media source, football media source in 2025. So here is how all of these places broke down the Cardinals after the draft. The Athletic ranked the Cardinals 20th. 3rd among the NFC West teams, meaning there were 2 NFC West teams in front of them. ESPN had the Cardinals 22nd, down from 20th after their free agency power rankings. They ranked the Cardinals 4th out of the 4 NFC West teams. The other 3 NFC West teams all in front of the Cardinals on ESPN. CBS Sports ranked the Cardinals. They did theirs a little differently. Theirs was ranking just the 16 NFC teams. They ranked the Cardinals 12th among the NFC teams. They also 3rd among the NFC West teams. And then there's PFF.
I'm a huge nerd.
Well, the nerds are the group of people that like the Cardinals the most. So I'm
a huge nerd.
If you want to be against the nerds,
looks
they've
like
got
most
you back
people are
here.
nerds
That's
today.
right. They've got you back. You're team nerd today. PFF did their state of the divisions. They rank the Cardinals 2nd in the NFC West. But what does this overall picture tell you right now? It is a story of a team that had a great offseason, had a great free agency period. Is there anybody out there that thinks the Cardinals missed in free agency? You nitpick. I would have liked to have seen them do this or that. But overall, is there anybody out there who thinks they missed in free agency? Is there anybody out there who thinks their approach to the draft, considering their limited capital, that they did a bad job during the draft? We loved the Walter Nolan pick. We loved substance over sizzle. We were over the moon that Will Johnson got to them at 47 in the 2nd round. Overall, investing heavily on defense. I think many of us, myself included, think they did a good job in the draft. So a team that doubled their win total a year ago, went from 4 wins to 8 wins, missed the playoffs, but went from 4 to 8 wins, capitalized on that 8-win season by landing all the players they did in free agency, and then on top of that, having the draft that they had. And yet, The Athletic has them barely as a top 20 team. ESPN does not have them as a top 20 team. CBS Sports has them 12th among NFC teams. What are they telling you? What is that telling you? It is telling you they are skeptical of Kyler Murray and this offense being able to do enough. They're skeptical. They need to see it. They need the proof. They need, with their own 2 eyes, a story of Kyler Murray coming through in November and December. And we have said this time and time again here on this show. Until he breaks through, until he has that moment, this is where everybody is going to fall back to. Yeah, they had a great offseason. Yeah, they had a great draft. Yeah, I like a couple of their pieces. Really like Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison Jr., that's a good pick. All roads lead back to the quarterback. And the road to this quarterback in particular has a bunch of potholes. It's dirt in some patches. It's not actually asphalt. It's not actually road. The road to this quarterback is one of a bumpy nature. And these power rankings are the proof that you can have the best offseason that you can have. You can have the best draft that you can have. You can get the A+, you can get the Bs, you can get graded well in the offseason. You can win the offseason. It doesn't matter if the overwhelming belief is a lack of belief in your quarterback. That is what these power rankings tell us after the NFL draft.
And it's not hard to see it. Some of them say it. Some of them flat out say the biggest concern, Kyler Murray and what he can do this year. And listen, it's a question we've talked about on the show. This is the most important year of his career. This is make or break. This is the first year that this front office, this coaching staff will be able to get out of the contract at the end of the year. This is the first year where there's going to be a microscope on just Kyler Murray and what he's able to do with these weapons. They have the defense now. Let's go see it.
And until there are the results that match what people want to see, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get being ranked 20th. You're going to get being ranked 22nd. You're going to get being ranked 12th among the NFC teams. The CBS Sports Power Rankings, having the Cardinals 12th among NFC teams, is telling you they don't think this is a playoff team. Look at this roster. Look up and down this roster. You know it's a playoff roster. You know it's got better talent on defense than it did a year ago. You know the offensive talent is there. Why would I feel like I'm Brian Windhorst. Why would they do that? Why would CBS Sports have them 12th? Because of the quarterback. There is no belief in the quarterback. And so now you got to go out there and prove it. You got to go out there and change the narrative. and you have to do it sooner rather than later. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2, when we come back, we got to start with this bullpen. And they almost gave one away yesterday, but it's the ones they have given away that may doom the Diamondbacks. That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
An MLS showdown in the desert. Get ready for a night of top-tier soccer as Phoenix Rising hosts Major League Soccer's Houston Dynamo for the first time ever, Wednesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. It's a round of 32 clash in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and tickets start at just $9. The first 2,000 fans from the gates will score a limited edition Phoenix Rising t-shirt, and the night features fan-favorite drink specials throughout the stadium. It's more than a match. It's a moment. Bring the noise. Bring your jersey. Bring a friend or 5. Get your tickets now at phxrisingfc.com.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. If you're having plumbing problems, we've got you covered. My plumbing technicians are the best in the business. That's why we've been voted Arizona's #1 ranked company for more than a decade. Whether you've got clogged drains, drippy faucets, need a new water heater, or even a full house repipe, Precision does it all. So make the Precision decision today and call us at 602-765-PIPE.
Precision decision with Precision Air.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
I'm sure everyone says this, but my mom really deserves the world. This year, I finally found a Mother's Day gift that comes close. She loves Hellsberg, so I'm getting her these timeless gold earrings she can enjoy for years to come. They feel special enough to show how much I truly appreciate everything she does for me. And I mean everything. I even sent my dad a link to the Diamond Eternity band he'll be getting her, too.
Save up to 50% on Mother's Day gifts Mom will cherish forever. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
12 o'clock hour of the lunch break. Appreciate you starting your week with us here. Hope everybody had a great weekend as well. Now, producer Evan, I've heard back because you like to do this from time to time where you like to start feuds with listeners of the program. And you started a feud in hour number 1, or continued a feud, I should say, with Paul. And I'm the in-between. I'm the go-between because he emails into the show. I read said emails, and then I have to tell you about said emails. And so you said that you're upset with Paul in hour number 1 because, and he didn't offer this to you as like actual advice. You just took it as such because he sent in an email on Friday after we got off the air, putting it into the record who he was picking for the Kentucky Derby. You, I guess, took that as a gift, and you're like, gotta back Paul's horse. Sandman, gotta do it. How'd it work out for you? Didn't work out at all.
Didn't work out.
Now, Paul has responded. I only lost $6. I just like this. I just like taking the second betting favorite across the board, not looking for big returns. And then he said, you know, how he watches, and then he said, sorry if you lost money. Now, listen, Paul, you don't have to apologize to me. And honestly, Paul, you don't have to apologize to Evan. This is 100% on him. It is 100% on you.
I also bet $5 on Sandman. It's not like
Paul has a bigger gripe than you do because he bet more.
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%. I was just messing with Paul. It's all good fun. And my horse guy, he told me to bet Sovereignty.
So you have wait a minute. You have another horse guy.
Yes, but okay, so
please explain yourself.
So my brother and I, for a while there, were going to the Belmont every year.
Okay.
Tons of fun. And one of my brother's like college good buddies has two friends that like are horse guys. And so
okay, wait a minute.
And so I don't know their names.
Wait a minute. Your brother has buddies.
Yes.
Who have buddies
who are horse
guys.
Yep. And so we text my brother's buddy every time this horse race comes on. And we're like, yeah, who do they like? And this year they said Sovereignty. He's good in the mud. And so I got that tip on Saturday.
And you ignored it because you were riding with Paul.
No, I bet both.
You bet both.
So I did win. So Paul shouldn't feel bad. I was just messing with Paul.
Yeah, Paul shouldn't feel bad at all.
No, I wasn't telling Paul to feel bad.
Paul, I apologize on behalf of the program that this is taken over the show today because you wanted to call out Paul in hour number 1 for. I didn't even give it out. He emailed after the show was over. We didn't even talk about it on Friday. You just took it on your own, and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to ride with Paul." This was after the show yesterday, up and down the hallway. Oh, Paul made a horse pick. I'm in. I'm riding with Paul. All right, good luck.
I felt like that was a good way for Paul and I to get back on the same page.
And where did it lead us? Not on the same page. You and Paul feuding once again. You know who I'm feuding with? The Diamondbacks bullpen right now and the struggles that they have had. They have given away a ton of games this season. They almost gave away a game yesterday. And so what we decided to do, most of the morning meeting this morning was dedicated to this. We decided to put together the list. We put together a list of games that the Diamondbacks bullpen has given away this season because they are 5-6 in one-run games so far this season. ESPN put out a story this morning that listed one area of improvement for every team in baseball, and for the Diamondbacks, they listed the bullpen health and talking about the struggles that this bullpen has had across the board. But this is the list that we came up with, and we went in reverse order. We found this was the easiest way to do this. What do we want to do with yesterday's game, Producer Evan? Does it go on the list? They won the game.
They blew a save and a 6-run lead, but they won the baseball game.
They won the baseball game. They did have a blown save. If you look at the box score, it says blown save next to Shelby Miller's name because he did blow a save in the 9th inning after getting the first 2 outs. So if we're evaluating this on how the bullpen performed, the bullpen did not perform very well.
I think it goes into the category of what we're going to talk about here.
So you want to put it on the list?
I want to put it on the list.
So, all right, we'll put it on the list. I think it's the only game on the list that isn't a win, but we'll put it on the list because I do think it was.
Because it's arguably the worst one, other than the one that we'll get to on April 18th. But other than that,
that's the worst one.
That's the worst one, but I think this one's second. I know they won the game, but this one is bad, Chris.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's not great when you blow a lead the way that they did, and Shelby Miller, the guy that you've anointed to be your new closer, blows a lead in his second opportunity to
after getting 2 strikeouts almost immediately.
Yeah, no, I'm aware how bad it was. I was just trying to maybe give them the benefit of the doubt here on a Monday that they had a 7-1 lead and they still won the game, and it's not all bad, but. All right, you want to put it on the list? I'm not going to argue too much. Friday, I want on the list because not going to Jalen Beeks against Kyle Schwarber is, I think we need to make a sub list in the list of games that Torey Lovello made a mistake. This goes on that list. This goes on the sub list of the list.
I have 2 off the top of my head. I'll tell you the second one when we get there.
I think the second one's on my list too. I think it's on the list that we put together this morning.
It is.
So that was Friday. Then April 26th, they play the Braves. Jalen Beeks allows 3 runs in the 7th inning. They lose that game. April 24th, 2 days prior, Torey Lovello decides, you know what? Just going to roll with Ryan Nelson. Just going to keep him out there for his 17th inning of work in this game instead of going to Shelby Miller, who I had ready and available. And they blew that one. And then the 18th, the meltdown in Wrigley Field, you scored 10 runs in the 8th inning, and then in the bottom of the 8th, you give it all back. Those are the games. 5 games in total already that the Diamondbacks bullpen has given away. 4 of those 5 resulted in losses. They were lucky yesterday to escape with a win. Those are the 5 games that we're putting on the list. Is it the Nelson game that you wanted to add to the sub list?
It is the Nelson game. I have another one that they won that I'll give you to you.
Okay.
This wasn't a meltdown, but this is another bad Tory day. And that is, I believe it was Thursday in New York when he leaves.
When he didn't go to Beeks?
And he doesn't go to Beeks.
And he went to Ginkle and almost cost himself the game?
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't great either. They won that one too. But you look at the standings right now. The Diamondbacks, 5 games back of the Dodgers. I have 4 games on this list that they lost because of their bullpen. Now, they're not all on Torrey. 2 of them are on Torrey. 2 of them, I think, you make a different decision and perhaps you win the game. Your guy's got to perform. Torey Lovullo can only do so much. He can pick the guys that are going to go in there. They're the ones that have to execute. Now, are there times where you pick the wrong guy? Yeah, I think on Friday, not going to Beeks was a mistake. I think that was a mistake. I think it was a blunder. Before Schwarber hit the home run, I thought it was a mistake. And again, it's not like he avoided Beeks altogether. He went to Beeks later in the game.
And I can't, in my head, was Thursday you didn't go to Beeks in the 8th to save him for that spot.
You want him for that moment.
Spot.
Yep.
And they didn't use him. And when you didn't use him Thursday, I was like, okay, you play for tomorrow. You still got the win. And then they get to the spot on Friday that was like, wow, Torrey, he may have managed it well because he saved Beeks to face Schwarber and Kepler, who's going to come up in this inning, and you didn't get him again.
Well, the interesting thing about the Beeks decision on Friday in particular, and we talked about it on Thursday of why he didn't go to Beeks, and Beeks has worked a lot here at the start of the season. So I understand wanting to take it easy, but the reason why you don't pitch him on Thursday is so that you can then use him during the Philly series in some high leverage spots. And I went and looked because I'm like, all right, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there are some numbers that they have that I don't have. Do you know that lefties against Jalen Beeks this season are hitting 176 with a 194 on base percentage? Righties are hitting 212 with a 316 on base percentage. I will tell you, when I looked at this last time, the average for lefties was closer to 200. So he's pitched better against lefties his last couple times out. This is your guy. To face Schwarber in a 1-run game, it doesn't get more high leverage than that.
And I know Schwarber has been better against lefties this year, and it's shocking how good he's been against lefties this season. But that's not a career thing. It's not over his career. He's better against lefties. I'm still going lefty-lefty there.
Of course I am. Just like I wanted to go lefty-lefty against Soto in that spot in the 8th on Thursday against the Mets.
The 2 guys that could have burned them, like the 2 home run guys on Thursday, Friday, burned them because you didn't go to Beeks.
And you picked a lefty. You picked a lefty to face Schwarber.
But not your best one.
But not your best one. That's the problem. If you went with a different lefty or a different pitcher altogether, you went with a righty, and you're like, well, he's had good numbers against lefties this season, so there are kind of some reverse splits right now, and that's how we wanted to attack it. Fine. I don't agree, but I can at least understand the mathematical, not to, listen.
I'm a huge nerd.
Not to get all nerdy here with everybody, but okay, the numbers tell me a story, and if that's the reason why you went with that decision and the numbers back it up, I'm on board. But you didn't. You went with a lefty. And you went with a lefty who you just called up a couple days ago. You didn't go to a lefty that has been with the team all season and has been lights out and has been dominant. You didn't go to your dominant lefty. You know what you did? You went to a guy who has been with your team for a matter of days. A guy who is 29, who's a career guy that's been back and forth to the big leagues and to the minor leagues. You didn't go with Jalen Beeks. So that one is not only the bullpen blowing it, but that one goes on a sub list of Torrey messing that up in the moment. And there are 2 of those on this list. For a team that's lost 4 games on this list, of the 5 that we mentioned, 4 they've lost. They're 5 games back of the Dodgers.
As soon as Castillo came into the game, you texted me, are you watching this? And I was like, I can't believe it.
I can find the text message.
I can't believe that that's what they did there. I was sitting there trying to build these pool chairs we bought, also watching the game. Couldn't believe it. Stopped what I was doing.
I texted you after they used Murillo in the 6th inning. And I texted you and I said, Murillo getting the 6th in a 1-run game is all the proof we need that Torrey has a short pen tonight. And then after the 2 home runs, I said, imagine not using Jalen Beeks. Imagine having a lefty whose lefties are hitting 176 against them and not using him in that spot. And I've been the guy who defends Torrey. I defended Torrey from the meltdown on the 18th. That's not on him. That's on the guys not executing. Okay, players have to execute. You put guys out there in roles, they have to execute. But everybody knows you had Beeks available. That's your better lefty reliever. Don't try to play this cute game of trying to have him for a different spot or trying to avoid him. You have a 1-run game on the road in Philly after you just took 2 out of 3 from New York. Win this game today.
And that's the most important inning because when you look at the game, you have the 1-run lead at that point.
If you get through that,
inning, you can extend it. You have all the confidence.
And it's the bottom part of the order in the 8th and the 9th. You have to get through that juncture. And so I have to use my best reliever there.
And if the argument is, well, we're saving Beeks for Stott, Turner, Harper.
How'd it work out for you?
1, how did that work out for you? But 2, Stott, I'm not afraid of taking me deep. I'm not afraid of him beating me on one swing. Schwarber is the guy I have to get out.
Here's why you can't be afraid about lefties coming up later. If you get Schwarber and Kepler right then and there, and then you go score insurance runs, it doesn't matter the situation that Harper comes up in. Yes, I'm worried about facing Harper in a 1-run game in the 9th inning. I'm very afraid of that. But you know what? I need to keep it a 1-run game right here and then go get the insurance, which, by the way, is exactly what they did in the Wednesday game against the Mets. They got the insurance in the top half, and it proved to be crucial because the Mets rallied off of Justin Martinez, who we now know was hurt. And the reason why the Mets didn't walk off in that game is because of the 2 runs of insurance that the Diamondbacks got. So keep the lead at 1 and then get the insurance runs, and then you can put in whoever you want to face Harper because now you're facing him with a 2-run cushion or a 3-run cushion. It was a 6-run cushion yesterday, and it didn't matter. But they are giving games away. Some of it is just execution. Some of it is Shelby Miller just got to be better yesterday after he gets the first 2 outs. Cannot have that blow-up inning. Others, it's Torrey making a bad decision, leaving Ryan Nelson in too long. On Friday, going to Castillo over Beeks. That's a mistake. Those ones haunt you. And yes, I can make a list of games that things went their way. The 5-run walk-off inning against Milwaukee. But I guarantee you if we did this list, the list of games that the bullpen has given away, much longer than the ones that the Diamondbacks have stolen here over these first 30-plus games. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, they are the ideal trade partner for the Suns. And it just so happens that a bunch of free time has opened up on their schedule. That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays, 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, Peter Frampton. Let's Do It Again tour, June 25th, Arizona Financial Theater. Grammy winner, the one and only Peter Frampton. On sale now at livenation.com.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
How do you feel when you switch to Geico and save on your car insurance? It's like unloading the grocery bags from your car and you decide you can get all the bags in one trip.
I can do it.
So you load up all 14 grocery bags on both arms. Sure, you can't feel your fingers and forgot to take your house keys out.
Almost there.
But you never put down one bag and you made it inside all in one trip, like the bag-carrying boss you are.
Yes.
Yep, switching and saving with Geico feels just like that. Get more with Geico.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Golden State Warriors are moving on, and they deserve it. Championship DNA, big game experience, and a certain number 30 who still bends the game to his will when it matters most. They earned it. But as the Rockets head into the offseason, you can't help but feel this isn't the end of something. It's actually the beginning. Now, Houston may have gotten in a year early. That's what happens with young teams. The postseason has a way of exposing inexperience. But this group, they've got something special going on. Real star potential. They got flexibility. They've got depth, athleticism. Houston has the cap structure and contract pieces to make a big run at a big name. Add the appeal of warm weather, no tax, free agent-friendly city. The Rockets aren't just on the rise. They could be here for a little while. As the Warriors advance, Houston has just arrived. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Maaco can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. And right now, they got the spring specials going. Perfect time to get in. You get that free estimate. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Maaco does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. Go to Maaco.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. You're going to get a free estimate. You're going to love the community-based feel you get with Maaco. That's Maaco, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Maaco.
Hey listeners, Vince Delisio from the Varsity Sports Show. This week is our annual show in honor of all moms out there. Tune in as our team introduces you to their moms. And we also bid farewell to this semester's talented group of interns. It's the Varsity Sports Show Mother's Day Special, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Before the playoffs started, we tried to outline a world where teams and their reported interest in Kevin Durant would be turned up to another level. What would that look like for the Rockets to be more interested in Kevin Durant? What would it take for the Knicks to be more interested in Kevin Durant? When would their desperation level reach a place that plays right into the Suns' hands? And we outlined a world because there was reporting that it was less likely, I believe was the phrase that was used, less likely than we thought that the Rockets would be interested in Kevin Durant. And I can remember saying, okay, it's easy to say that when you're still in the NBA playoffs. It's easy to say that when you are the 2 seed and you still have your entire postseason in front of you. How easy is it today for them to say that same thing? Because I think the exact scenario that if you were rooting for the Suns to get their picks back, if you were rooting for the Suns to make a trade with the Houston Rockets because you like their collection of assets, then last night was a great night for you. The Warriors beating the Rockets in Houston. You play all season long to get the 2 seed, to have that moment, to have almost every game 7 in the playoffs that you would face to be on your home floor. You play for that moment. And in that game, with your season on the line, as the 2 seed, you scored only 89 points and lost at home. So you're eliminated. You're out. The 2 seed. You are not moving on to the next round in the playoffs. You have a young core. You have a bright young head coach that people are a big fan of. Your future is bright, but you missed the mark. You lost in the first round to a 7 seed, a team that had to make a trade for Jimmy Butler. They had to do the thing they didn't want to do. Remember all the reporting that Steve Kerr and Steph Curry did not think it was a good idea to bring Jimmy Butler into the fold. That's how desperate they got to try to salvage one more run with Steph and Draymond. They're moving on. You're not. You have to do some soul searching because you didn't play a game 7 in which you barely lost. It came down to the final possession, or you went to overtime and played a competitive game. No, you scored 89 points at home, and you looked like a team that shriveled in the moment. You looked like a team that couldn't handle the pressure of a game 7, even though that game 7 was in your own building. And so part of that soul searching might be calling up the Phoenix Suns and seeing what it would take to get Kevin Durant. Now, mind you, their first phone call that will be promptly hung up on will be about Devin Booker. That's who their first phone call will be about. And then when that pursuit falls short, they will pivot and then ask about Kevin Durant. Because you didn't go to the Western Conference Finals and fall short. You didn't go to the NBA Finals and fall short. In both of those worlds, I could make the case, don't touch a thing. Make some small tweaks, add a veteran here or there, but don't change your roster. You fell short. You played a competitive 6 or 7 game series against the Thunder or in the finals against the Celtics or the Knicks or the Cavs or the Pacers, and you just came up a little bit short. Your guys grew from this. You had a young group of players, a young core, their first big exposure to the playoffs. You made a run. That run came up a little bit short. Learn from it. Come back next year. Be more battle-tested. You'll be fine. You weren't battle-tested. You didn't get those opportunities to have those battles. You lost in the first round to a Warriors team that was a 7 seed. You lost in a game 7 on your home floor where you no-showed offensively and scored 89 points. Music to all of our ears today that that's the result that we saw last night, because that brings about the desperation. That brings about a fan base that sat down, paid money to go see them, watch that team play some of the best basketball that Houston has seen in a really long time, to be the 2 seed and get bounced in the first round. Music to Suns fans, music to our ears today, that was the result that they had last night. Because now there will be a little bit of desperation. They could run it back. They could. They could choose to keep their core in place and use this as a learning moment. There's no rush on their end, but there may be rush on the fan base's end. There may be some pressure that is applied because you didn't win a first-round series and then get bounced in the second round. You got eliminated in the first round. Your entire regular season, how great you played, didn't matter. Because you played great to have that game 7, and it wasn't good enough. You no-showed a game 7. So it was less likely before the playoffs. Is it still less likely now? Is it still not front of mind for Houston? Because they may feel they have to do something. They may feel like a move needs to be made after not getting out of the first round. And boy, did it seem like they could have used somebody who had experience in those types of moments last night. Boy, did it not feel like they could use somebody who handles that pressure and can score in those types of environments. It felt like they were missing that one little extra element. And don't worry, it's already happening. Did you watch First Take this morning? Did you watch ESPN? Stephen A. Smith already told Jalen Green to pack his bags. Already told him to pack his bags and that he's probably going to Phoenix for Kevin Durant. Already it started. less than 24 hours after the Game 7. They're already talking about Houston needing to do something. That's what happens when you're an early exit. We always said an early exit would be better for the Phoenix Suns for all of these teams than them going deep. Houston going deep and falling short in the finals, they may not want to touch that. The Knicks, if they get by the Celtics, if they finally slay the Dragon and go to the Eastern Conference Finals by beating the Celtics, they may not be so inclined to make that move. Losing early, getting eliminated the way that the Rockets did, was music to all of us last night. And on the flip side, on the other side, I'm seeing a headline today on The Athletic about the Warriors' bet when they traded for Jimmy Butler paying off. And I'm sure there are some of you that watched that series, watched playoff Jimmy, watched how he thrived and helped that team get past Houston and thought to yourself, what if? What if the Suns made that trade at the trade deadline? What if they actually went through with getting Jimmy Butler? Now, they were never going to be in a place to have KD, Butler, and Booker all on the same floor together because Beal was not getting moved. So they were going to have to do the KD to Golden State, Butler, and Booker combo. Would that have worked? I don't think it would have worked as well as what is working in Golden State for Golden State is, but we'll never know. We'll never know the answer to that question. It is the ultimate what if for Phoenix Suns fans. Because if they continue to go far, if they continue to have one more run and Jimmy plays a decent-sized role in that, that may sting a little bit. It doesn't for me. I was never on the Jimmy trade bandwagon. Did not think it was a good idea. But, man, the Warriors fans who might have been on the fence, they're feeling really good about things. As a 7 seed, they got through the play-in tournament. They won their game to get in. And then in a Game 7 on the road, they looked like the team that was the 2 seed. They looked like the team that was ready for that type of an environment. The 2-seeded Houston Rockets did not seem like a team that was ready for that environment. So Houston's got some free time on their hands. Perhaps one of Brian Gregory's first couple of phone calls in his new gig as the GM of the Phoenix Suns might be to see what Houston is up to, see if they're interested in trading for Kevin Durant. Because they've got a lot of soul searching to do.
It's hard to sit through these rebuilds and be extremely patient when you need somebody at the end of the game who can get you a bucket. You know what Kevin Durant can still do?
He can get you buckets.
He can get you a bucket.
And there's going to be a push. I think the fan base will make a push. They will push them to do something. Now, whether or not it's KD, we'll see. But there's going to be a push for them to do something.
They're going to be in on the Giannis,
yes,
Kevin Durant,
yes.
like you said, they're going to call about Devin Booker. They're going to call. We're going to hear rumors about the Houston Rockets all offseason.
But we need some more definitive answers to the Giannis situation first. Because if I'm Houston and I'm going to do something seismic to my roster, it's going to be for Giannis before it's going to be for Kevin Durant.
100%.
So, again, we've said this. Suns got to be patient. Don't overplay your hand. Don't underplay your hand. But Houston being eliminated, I think they're going to want a seat at the table that is the Kevin Durant trade sweepstakes. When we come back, tonight, it's only a spot start. But could it be an audition for the future? That's next on the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply.
Stevie Nicks. One special night October 7th, PHX Arena.
Would you love to love her? I will pray to
Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Stevie Nicks live at PHX Arena.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement, but you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, Mike Barrow from Barrow's Pizza here. The way we see it, family isn't just a cherished thing, it's everything. For us, that starts with our Grandma Angelina's family recipes brought over from Sarconi, Italy, like our sweet and tangy pizza sauce, 100% real mozzarella, and our fresh dough made every morning. And because every Barrow's is family-owned, never franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barrow's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
In place of Corbin Burnes tonight, it will be our first look this season at Ryan Nelson as a starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He has been the swing man, the mop-up guy, when stuff goes sideways, he's the janitor. He cleans up after everybody else. And it has all been in service of this idea that at some point he's going to be asked to be a spot starter when they want to maybe give guys an extra day and they want a sixth guy in their rotation. Or for scenarios just like tonight. Corbin Burnes, they're skipping his start. Well, we've got somebody on our roster already. We don't have to make a roster move. We can just go to Ryan Nelson, who in the second half of last year was a great starter for us, put up some excellent numbers in the second half, was part of a battle for that last rotation spot in the spring. And then when Jordan Montgomery went down with Tommy John surgery, there was an immediate opening on this roster for him to be the swingman. Because I think if Jordan doesn't get hurt, he's the swingman. Nelson is down in Reno getting those starts every fifth day. I said Reno. It's just what I think of when I say the city of Reno, because this is going to surprise absolutely nobody. But you know who was named one of the players of the month for the month of April down in the minor leagues? It's Jordan Lawler.
Huh?
Yeah, surprising.
Really?
Surprising.
That's out of nowhere.
Yeah, nobody's been talking about how good Jordan Lawler has been down in the minor leagues. Nobody.
In the professional baseball system, there are two separate but important groups: the veteran third baseman who is trying to hold on, and the young top prospect who is breaking down the door.
This is Lawler Watch.
Nobody's been talking about Jordan Lawler. Nobody has production made for Jordan Lawler. Nobody has been talking about Jordan Lawler at all. So I just thought I would share with everybody that Jordan Lawler was the April player of the month in the minor leagues. I thought that was an important piece of information to share with everybody. That wasn't what I said Reno, and my brain immediately looked at the board that said that literally it's on the board as done, and it says Lawler Watch next to it. So that's where my brain went the moment I said Reno. But Ryan Nelson, if Jordan Montgomery was healthy, would have been in Reno playing with Jordan Lawler, and as a starter. Every fifth day he would have been out there making starts. But when Jordan Montgomery got hurt and the spot opened up, they made Nelson the swingman. And so tonight is our first look with him being a starter. And it's just a spot start right now. If everything is fine with Corbin Burnes and just skipping him is enough to get him back right, he takes his next turn through. Nelson's going to go right back into the role that he was in previously. This is just an emergency start, a spot start. It is not a long-term thing. But it could serve a huge purpose in landing Ryan Nelson a spot in this rotation at some point. It is an audition in many ways. Not that he needs an audition. He has a second half last year that he can stand on, resume enough to be a starter. But this season, if he shows an ability to go out there tonight and give this team solid work, give them a chance to win this baseball game, if Eduardo Rodriguez's ERA continues to hover, I know he pitched well yesterday afternoon, better, got that ERA below 6, but if he does struggle, he's given up 3 earned runs or more in each of his last 3 starts. If the Diamondbacks continue to lose his starts, if he continues to have those blow-up outings like he did the previous 2 before yesterday, and you have Ryan Nelson, who has pitched, has started, has had good outings, you may consider making a change. So tonight is an audition for Ryan Nelson for the future, getting this spot start tonight. And there's always a question of how long is a guy who has been in the bullpen, who hasn't thrown a ton of innings, hasn't been stretched out where he's thrown 5, 6, 7 innings, how far is he going to go tonight? Well, the last time out, he piggybacked off of Erod, and he threw 68 pitches in 3 scoreless innings. So if trying to predict what he might be able to do tonight, he threw 68 pitches. They felt comfortable continuing to have him out there. So I would not be surprised if they feel, if they want to push it a little bit, that Ryan Nelson doesn't have 75 to 80 pitches available to him tonight. I don't expect it to be much more than that. I don't expect them to have him go into the 90s. I don't think they're going to want to do that for somebody who, again, 68 pitches his last time out. All right, you want to push it a little bit? 75, maybe 80 max if he's working through an inning, 7th, 8th inning, if he gets that far and they want to just maybe let him finish it out. But 75 to 80 pitches feels like the sweet spot. But he threw 68 his last time out. So if he's cruising and he's having quick innings, 10, 12 pitch innings, and he's just stacking them up, putting up zeros, he doesn't have to stop after 3 innings. He doesn't have to stop after 4 innings. They can let him go. He threw 68 pitches his last time out. They can let him go into the 5th and 6th. So it is going to be about limiting those walks, not allowing innings to extend. 2 out walks, 2 out hit by pitch, 2 out errors, 2 out hits. Those 2 out base runners that extend an inning, that force your starter to throw those extra pitches, that is what Ryan Nelson has to avoid tonight if he's going to give the Diamondbacks length. Because from a pitch count perspective, I think he can do it. I think he can give them 75, 80 pitches and go deep into this game as long as he has that command. He's not giving away free passes. And with 2 outs, you're getting out of innings clean.
That was the number I was going to give you. It was probably 80 pitches. I imagine this Mets lineup's good, though. They're going to see pitches tonight. And so, you know Soto's going to give you a 5-pitch at bat almost every time he comes to the plate.
Yeah.
And so you have those that are kind of locks of you're going to throw 5 to 6 pitches. And then outside of that, get through the bottom of the order quickly. And maybe you can get 4 or 5, hopefully into the 6th inning here.
Yeah. The Mets have a couple of guys who've been doing, and you saw them last week, that do a good job of working at bats. Soto's one of them. Even when he's quote unquote struggling, he still can draw his walks. Pete has been much better at laying off, Pete Alonso, that is, laying off
close pitches as of late, especially at the start of this season. So you know you're going to get potentially a tough at-bat there. Brandon Nimmo at times can work a really nice long at-bat. So they have guys. They also have guys like Jeff McNeil, who's always hunting for the first pitch and wants to swing. So it's about making sure that when you have those at-bats against Soto, and they are working up the pitch count, they end in outs. Because you don't want to work a 5, 7, 9 pitch at-bat against Soto, and then you lose them on a walk. Now you threw all those pitches, and now I got to pitch to somebody else. So it is about the leverage, right? We don't want Ryan Nelson pitching some high leverage innings early. You don't want a lot of base traffic. You don't want him having to work in and out of jams over the first couple of innings, because guess what? If he does have those early tough innings, let's say he throws 20 pitches in the first 2 innings, he's at 40 pitches. You start running the math, 3rd, 4th inning, you don't have a swingman tonight. Ryan Nelson would normally be in that role. He's not. So it's going to be interesting to see. We talked about this at the start of the show, how Torey's going to manage the bullpen. Tonight's going to be another example where, depending on how the game goes, we could be adding a game to the list.
You don't have a middle reliever tonight. You don't have a long inning guy. Not anymore.
You do not have a guy that can mop up for you and give you 3 innings like Nelson has been giving you. And so you're going to have to be very, very careful with how you deploy these bullpen arms for this game tonight. So Ryan Nelson, spot start tonight for Corbin Burnes. I do think it is an audition for the future, especially if he pitches really well tonight. If Erod, that ERA still is over 5, we gave him until start 10, right? He was better last time out. That was start number 7. So 3 more starts. If we get to the 10 start mark and he's not pitching really well, and Nelson does pitch well tonight, continues to thrive in this role that they have him in, I wonder if the Diamondbacks will consider giving him a chance to be the starter and take a couple turns through, and not just be a spot starter, but get a full couple of turns through the rotation. So tonight, an audition in a lot of ways for Ryan Nelson in this series against the Mets. When we come back, it is the leftovers. It is all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Producer Evan has them for us. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
For many, a warm bed or meal is just the beginning. The Salvation Army provides people facing hardship with a hand up, not a handout. Food, shelter, clothing, rent and utilities assistance, and community resources are just some of the ways we help people get back on their feet. Learn how you can give hope to your neighbors in need. Visit SalvationArmySouthwest.org. Above all, love. Sponsored by the Salvation Army Southwest Division.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer.
What you say?
Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah. See that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaska vacations?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong. Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary? Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at AlaskAC.com.
Join ASU Baseball right here on KDUS AM 1060. Starting this Friday, the next opponent in the Sun Devils sights is the University of Houston. As the end of the regular season approaches, ASU knows that every win counts, and they look to give it their all against the Cougars. The voice of the Sun Devils, Tim Healy, will have the call live. It's ASU versus the University of Houston this Friday. Pregame at 6:15 p.m. and first pitch at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com/Sun Devils.
Back to wrap up today's edition of the show. Just a quick, small correction to what we were talking about at the end of that last segment. The Diamondbacks did call up Tommy Henry yesterday, guy who's had some starting experience at the big league level. So if they did need somebody to have some mop-up innings tonight, they could turn to him. But ideally, they want Ryan Nelson to go probably 75 to 80 pitches and take this game into the deep innings. So just a quick correction there. They did make a bunch of roster moves over the weekend, so it's hard to keep track of everything. But they did call up Tommy Henry as potentially to have a backup long man if they needed somebody to mop up those innings. Hey, if you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks against the Rockies on Saturday, May 17th at Chase Field. You can stick around after the game for an awesome post-game fireworks show. And while you're there, you can pick up the replica home jersey at the game on May 17th. But again, it's here in the fine print at the bottom, not a giveaway. So you can just pick up the replica home jersey while you're there at the team shop on May 17th. So listen on the app for your chance to win. You can also get your tickets at dbacks.com/SGT. And if you're listening on the app right now, or you're listening on the website, you're streaming us, however you may be listening, app streaming, if you're not logged in and register while you're listening, you do not get the listening hours that count for you to be entered to win. So if you want to listen for your chance to win, you're listening on the app and you're like, why am I not getting credit? Got to be registered. You got to be logged in while you are consuming this show or any of the other shows here on KDUS AM 1060. Okay, business taken care of. Now for the fun stuff. It is Cinco de Mayo, so I have to put in a lunch order here in a little bit. Getting my free chips and queso.
Your free chips and queso
from Chipotle.
That's awesome.
I'm going to do that while we are doing the leftovers. So this is where I hand the show over to the producer of the program. Producer Evan, take it away.
2 insane games in the NHL Game 7s this weekend. So the Stars beat the Avalanche. The Stars were down 2-0 for most of the game, and then scored 4 goals in the last 13 minutes to win Game 7.
Oh, I got to put in the address to the building, and I don't know it off the top of my head. Son of a. All right, go ahead.
And then last night, Blues-Jets in one of the best hockey games I've ever watched. Jets score with 1.6 seconds left on the clock on a tip-in, and then go to overtime. Let's play another overtime. They go into second overtime. The Jets finally bring it home.
So that moment is cool because they did it at home. But it would have been cool if they did it on the road, because then you would have been able to hear a pin drop in the building. Either way, that moment would have been memorable, that goal with 1.6 seconds to go, because the place goes nuts. It's an all-time Stanley Cup playoff moment. But if he did it on the road, you would have just heard nothing in the building. And it would have been cool either way. And then, you have a 2-0 lead in Game 7 in the third period, and then you allow 4 unanswered goals. That's a tough one.
And last night, too, that was both goalies from the or what did they call that with the four nations?
Oh, both Four Nations goalies. Okay.
And Huddlebuck. And so that was awesome to watch, too, because they were battling out for, in a playoff series or playoff style game again in overtime. Winner goes home.
The Stanley Cup playoff, man, it's special. The Stanley Cup playoffs are special, and they provide some moments like that. So, yeah, it was a fun weekend in hockey.
Moving to baseball. I mean this wholeheartedly.
Oh, boy.
Aaron Judge could be the greatest player of my generation.
No, you could take the probably out of that sentence.
And he is having the greatest start to a season that I have ever seen.
Yeah, you can remove the probably from your sentence. Aaron Judge is the greatest baseball player of your generation, of my generation. He is the greatest baseball player.
He's unbelievable.
We are approaching. I don't think we're there yet. We are approaching having a conversation of whether or not he's better than Bonds. Like we may be right up against the limit of whether or not we need to start having that conversation. He is putting up numbers that rival Bonds' numbers. Now, there's a longevity thing with Bonds, and then part of that longevity is the steroid question, and then it becomes a little murky. It becomes a little muddy. But what Aaron Judge is doing right now to the game of baseball is unheard of. You look at any number, any statistic of Aaron Judge here so far through the start of the season, and you compare it to the rest of baseball, not just the rest of the American League, not just the rest of the Yankees, the rest of baseball, and he is 3, 4, 5 times better than the rest of baseball. He is playing, sometimes in sports we say that person's playing a different game. Aaron Judge is literally playing a different game than everybody else.
I'm
literally everybody else.
Going to tell you the categories of the league that he leads in. Are you ready?
I don't know if we have enough time. There's only 6 minutes left in the show, and you're probably going to list a lot of categories.
So WAR.
Not surprising.
Leads in WAR. Batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, OPS plus, RBIs,
Wait a minute, OPS
runs.
plus? Hold on, OPS plus?
I'm a huge nerd.
Okay, go ahead.
And he's tied for the lead in home runs. His OPS plus,
wait a
you
minute.
can play it again.
Yep.
I'm a huge nerd. Is 263. And for those who don't know what that stat is,
because
100 is league average.
Because not everybody.
I'm a huge nerd.
Not everybody's like us.
But 100 is league average. And so it's how many points better you are than the league's average hitter. They believe he's more than twice as valuable as the league's average hitter.
And I would agree. I don't need that number to tell me that. I like it. I like having that data point, but my eyeballs tell me that. I mean, he is absolutely crushing the baseball. Crushing the baseball. Now, I have not checked. They're still leading the American League East, correct? The Yankees? They had a small lead last time I checked. They're not running away with that division because they have pitching problems. Literally, their offense is Aaron Judge. They only have a 2-game lead. They're only 19 and 15. So Aaron Judge is putting up these incredible numbers. And I can hear the people be like, not the MVP because his team's only 19 and 15. They don't have the consistent enough pitching. They had to remove Devin Williams from the closer role, the guy they traded for in the offseason to help lengthen their bullpen. They removed him from the closer's role. They don't have Stanton. The rest of their offense is sluggish, and yet they're still 19 and 15 because, they have Aaron Judge and Max Fried is pitching pretty well for them as well.
I mean, they got swept this weekend by the Rays, and I think he provided 60% of their runs.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, he's insane. I'm with you. He's the best player of my generation. I mean, you watch him hit every night, and it's unbelievable. Staying in baseball, the Diamondbacks have unveiled their City Connect jerseys.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. If you have not seen these, and I very rarely say this, stop what you're doing. Take out your phone, go to the computer, whatever you got to do. Find these jerseys if you have not seen them. If you have seen them, you understand why I'm so excited about them. These things are awesome. They're purple. They've got the teal. The hat is a snake. It's still the serpientes on the front. I looked on the team shop at a hat, a hoodie, and a Corbin Carroll jersey. It was before I could even blink. I was $330 into the team shop. I had to stop myself. And then I texted the fiance. We're planning a wedding at the end of the year. We're getting married. So we're working on that. We're doing some wedding stuff over the weekend. I texted her and I said, hey, permission to spend because we're saving all of our money for the wedding and the honeymoon, doing all the stuff that we got to do. I'm like, hey, cool if I spend $330 in the Diamondbacks team shop on some Serpientes gear because they brought out the new City Connect jerseys. And all I got back, literally all I got back, was all lowercase LOL. That's not a no.
No, that could be misinterpreted easy.
She did not say no. There are times where I ask permission to spend absorbent amount of money, and she goes, "No, what are you thinking? You're stupid." This was just LOL. Was not a no. It was not a no. So if I order these things and they show up to the house and she goes, "What were you thinking?" You didn't tell me no. I asked and you just said LOL. So you laughed because you agreed. I was $330. I bought 3 things. I bought a hat, a sweatshirt, and a jersey. And I was like, there's so much more that I want. You were picking out what t-shirt you wanted. They are really, really nice. I am pro City Connect jersey. I know that is an unpopular opinion. I am pro all of the City Connect jerseys. I think they're all great. I think they're all fun. They provide a very unique flavor. And for those out there who go, why do we need this? The NFL is doing this. The NFL this year.
That's a mistake. I want to say that. The NFL, there's not enough games. That's a mistake. and we can disagree on this. The NFL doing City Connect, Color Rush was a horrible thing.
Okay. We'll find some common ground here. I agree with you that the Color Rush were bad.
It's the same thing.
No.
This is going to tank like that.
No, because they have to learn from their mistakes. As long as they learn from the mistake of the Color Rush jerseys and they take the positives from what MLB did with the City Connects, then I think they're calling them rivals. I think these rivals jerseys will be good. But yeah, if you haven't, do yourself a favor. Go find the
so does that mean that they're going to wear them on rivalry week? Like, are the Eagles going to have to play the Cowboys in these jerseys? It's going to be horrible. Like, part of the fun of watching Eagles Cowboys is I get to see those jerseys.
Well, maybe not this year. Jim Rome's coming up next. That's going to do it for us. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Monday. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya!
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.